Imagine a reality where you were fully tapped into your divinity. What would that look like for you? In a world where we are manipulated into surrendering our power and authenticity, there are those of us who actively heal and work our magic to help others step into their highest versions. My name is KaSandra. I am the witch, spiritualist, founder, creator, and poet of Magic of Eden. My mission and purpose is to fearlessly share my magic, art, and wisdom to help others reclaim their divinity through poetry and ritual magic. On my podcast, I'll provide tarot readings, reveal prophetic messages and visions, share my astrological insights, discuss and perform my poetry. I'll also feature other creatives to ensure an infinite space of love, healing, and world unity. Hello, you guys. Thank you so much for coming back to another podcast episode here with me. I am always happy to be in good love and good light and high vibes with you all. If you guys are new here, welcome. We would love to have you as a part of our Eden family. Now, I'm not going to waste any time, you guys. I want to jump right into this. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about the full moon happening in the sign of Leo. Oh my goodness. Let me just go right into this chart. So first and foremost, I want to say that we have a huge square in the cosmos. There is a huge square happening in the sky. And the first thing that comes to my mind is lots of chaos, things that are being brought up, things I'm hearing like loud noises and things kind of erupting and things of that nature. Like that's what this kind of feels like to me. But I'm gonna go ahead and touch on some key points here, and I'm hoping to see how I can kind of help you guys work your magic, or even set your intention, or just kind of guide yourself through your own life throughout this time. First and foremost, with there being a full moon in the sign of Leo, Leo rules our play. It rules our expression. It rules our joy, our vibrancy, and things of that nature. Now, Leo is also the original ruler of the fifth house. Now, the fifth house has to do with sex. It has to do with children. It has to do with creativity, expression, things of that nature. So, having said that, as I'm looking at the chart, I want to point out that it is the full moon in Leo looks like it's actually squaring off with the vertex point sitting in the sign of Scorpio. Now, this energy, I want to say right now, is so intense because first and foremost, on the microscopic level of our own lives, this is bringing me to sexual misconduct, and it's also bringing me to the things where people struggled or have wounds or are afraid to express themselves sexually, and or it has everything to do with the fact that there are people who are sexually abused, assaulted, things of that nature, molested, and things of that nature. And I feel like some people on the microscopic level of their own lives are starting to come out and speak up and express themselves as a result of what they've gone through. Now, the things that they've kept hidden as it pertains to sexual misconduct, what it feels like to me is that these are the things that they've kept hidden within their shadows. They kept it suppressed. And these acts are now being brought to the forefront. I'm seeing this happen with some people, and this is just kind of me predicting basing off of my own intuition, take it as it resonates. But I do kind of see people exposing this in a way that is very loud. I see people communicating this. I don't know why I want to say to large groups of people. Some people are sharing more of their stories and things like that. But that's only just that one placement. Now, the vertex point is also looks like it's squaring off with the sun sitting in the sign of Aquarius. Now, this is all about Aquarius saying that first and foremost, Aquarius is a sign that is ruled by Uranus. And this is a very revolutionary planet. This planet is all about the future. This planet is all about humanitarianism, of course, with Aquarius being the humanitarian of the zodiac. Now, with the sun sitting in the sign of Aquarius squaring off with this vertex point in the sign of Scorpio, this to me means that there are some things that are being revealed that were under a rug, or not even just that were beneath the surface. And these are things that are being exposed based off of research and logic. Aquarius is notoriously known for detaching emotionally. But the reason for that, though, is because Aquarius says, I am for the all, I am for the people, I am for the collective. And so I have to detach myself from you specifically, or you individually, because I'm connecting with the whole, I'm connecting with the all. And I am here to bring forth the information that was kept secret. You see what I'm saying? So there's so many things that are being exposed here. There's so many different elements that are being exposed within ourselves. I also want to say too, though, that what this feels like is that there are some type of karmic or fated interactions where you may meet people that are here to help you move forward into your purpose, but at the same time, these people may act as triggers that reveal certain aspects of you that need to be healed. And sometimes, this looks like you getting into maybe an argument with someone, or it could just be that someone does something unintentionally and it makes you feel some type of way. Or this could be, excuse my French, but this could be the act of sex that you may be having with someone, and something that they do or they say may trigger you. It may trigger a trauma response, and that muscle memory now was reactivated saying, okay, this is where I was wounded, this is where I need to heal from. So for whatever reason, lots of sexual misconduct is happening. I don't know why I keep being brought back to that, but I guess it just needs to be said again. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to move forward with this chart. So I want to say that what's catching my attention right now is the fact that Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, but Pluto is in the final degrees of Capricorn. So to be honest with you, Pluto was like, I'm about to leave, but I'm going out with a fucking bang, and you gonna feel it. So I feel like at this moment, this is where these final breakdowns are happening in our lives, and it feels, for some of us, it feels extremely chaotic, and it feels like we're at this breaking point in which it's like, well, how much more can I be broken down? Like, you've broken me down from, you taking blood from bone at this point. What else could possibly happen? This is where major breakthrough has it's time for coming in. It's almost kind of like you've been broken down and you've been sucked dry, but what Spirit is saying right now in this moment, the download that I'm receiving is that this is a moment for you to be replenished. These are your final moments of breakdown. This is your final moments to feel this, because what we have to remember is that with these breakdowns happening in our personal lives, we are redefining ourselves, but we're also tapping more into our core. We're tapping more into our power. We're tapping more into our ability to show up for not only ourselves but for other people. And with Pluto making his exit out of the Capricorn, this is everything that you believe, everything that you've had, that you've structured, that you've built, in a sense, has been uprooted. But at the same time, this is a clear opportunity for you to say, I want to set my intention for rebuilding these things. These are the things that I feel bring me joy, that bring me pleasure, that really help to sustain me. These are the things that I truly do want to set intention for bringing back into my life. But I want it to be more evolved, and I want it to be built even better. That's what this transit to me makes me feel. Of course, you guys can fact check me if you want, or you can, lean more on the understanding of your trusted astrologers. That's fine. But this is just what I'm picking up on. This is what I feel. And I'm just going to, just call it what it is. So, what I feel that it is, if anything. So with this big square happening, I do feel like these are energies that, in a sense, are, I want to say, kind of speaking very loudly to each other. It's like one wants to be heard, one wants to be heard, but there's this element of us understanding how big of a heart we have and how that plays into some of the trauma that we experience as it pertains to love, as it pertains to friendships and whatever. Now remember, Leo has a very big heart. Leo is ruled by the sun, so the sun is very abundant and shines everything, and it wants and it touches, our earth, and it creates life for pretty much everything on earth, right? So this, in a sense, is our hearts creating spaces for other people. And sometimes we fall into this, we sometimes make these decisions or choose certain things that are not good for us because we see the potential in them. We see the thing. It's like we see them for the brightness of who they are. It's like we see their light because we are full of light. But sometimes, we end up choosing, for example, if we're talking about a relationship, you may end up choosing someone that is, in a sense, kind of abusive or verbally abusive or maybe even physically abusive. And I feel that sometimes or more often than not, the reason for us doing that is because what's being called to attention here is, what is it that we went through when we were children? Were you physically abused? Were you verbally abused? There's something sitting in the shadow that is being revealed to you through the interaction with this person. And it may even feel like you've been with this person before, that you've known this person for so long. But the reason for that is because this situation is something that has haunted you. It's almost kind of like the Nine of Swords, where these things won't let us rest until they have been brought to justice, if that makes sense. So I feel like these are things that, again, we've kept hidden within our shadows, and these things are being exposed through, our interactions with other people. Now, moving forward, I also want to say that at the time of the full moon, this to me again means that anything and everything that is being exposed here, you have the power to say, I have the courage, I have the willpower, I have the stamina, I have the drive, I have the courage to break through all of these barriers, bring myself healing, because I am deserving of that. The same way I open up my heart space to help other people, the same way that I open up my heart space to make sure that everyone else is accounted for, to make sure that everyone else is good, I deserve to be healed in that same way. I deserve to receive love in that same way. And I feel like your strength is going to come from the core of you. This is a download that I'm receiving right now from Spirit. This is Spirit's reminder for you to understand that the power is in you all along. And the more that you practice showing up for yourself on the microscopic level of your own life, and just really speaking that and communicating that, because again, this is happening in the third house. The full moon is happening in the third house. So this is you may be texting it. You may be, you may make a phone call and saying, this is what happened. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I want to heal from. This is, what happened to me when I was a child. This person did this to me, and I'm going to put that shit on blast because I am tired of keeping the shit in secrecy. So there, at the time of the full moon, I can definitely say that it feels that some of us, or some of you guys, are going to go through these processes where things are going to be exposed very loudly. Things are going to erupt. Shit may hit the fan for you. And I don't mean to say that and to speak anything negative over your life, but the intention that I have is to bring awareness and to raise awareness to you, to ensure that no matter what happens, you are always going and being led to your highest best, to your highest version, because that's what this podcast is all about. Now, as I say that, I also want to say too that with everything happening here, I want to say too, though, that there is also an emphasis on us really understanding the power of illusion, and how sometimes our beliefs about ourselves really create these illusions, and it creates this cloud over certain situations that make us feel as if it's our fault. Sometimes we fall into the element of believing, damn, like I'm not good enough, or maybe this is the reason why this person is treating me this way, or maybe this is the reason why this job won't hire me, or maybe this is the reason why, this job won't let me move up. It's all my fault. What am I not doing? And sometimes Spirit says, what you are doing is creating the illusion that you are not good enough, and that is exactly the reason why these things are happening, because I'm actively responding to you. So there's an emphasis or a highlight around our self-worth, and us kind of going back saying, okay, what happened? What is the backstory behind this? And then Aquarius says, okay, now that we know that, what can we do? What can we change? What can we alter to make sure that we are progressing and moving forward to the future, so that in the future this will not happen again, and that we're stepping into a higher version of ourselves? This, to me, right now at the time of the full moon, feels like a lot of awakening for people, saying, I realize who I am. I realize what I've been through. I realize my roots. I realize my power. I realize so many different elements of me, and how these different versions of me create this universe that I am meant to express to the world. And I feel like at the time of the full moon, this is our time to shine. This is a time to tell our story. This is a time to help our roar become louder, if that makes sense. And so I also want to say too, that with Venus sitting in a sign of Pisces in the 10th house, to me, this means that, because Venus rules the things that we're attracted to, it rules how we attract, it rules also forms of art as well. So I do feel that some of the ways that we can express ourselves, if we cannot speak, the roar is then depicted or shown or expressed or exhibited in our works of art. It is through painting, through poetry, through spoken word, through some form of art. It could be through martial arts, or it could be through dance. I'm seeing people tap more into their creative self, their intuition, and saying, this is my story, and telling their story and painting their story through art and expressing themselves through this way so that the world can see it. This is things being put on blast. This is you telling your story through your work. This is you saying that even though I felt uncertain, I want to make sure that no matter what, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to continuously show up for myself. I'm going to continuously show up for the people that I love, because I know that by sharing my story, I'm reaching someone. And I know that by me being authentic and by me just coming out and saying the things that I've been through, that it's going to help someone else. And I'm not going to silence my roar. I'm not going to silence my voice. I'm going to speak that shit into existence. I'm going to speak that shit because I'm tired of being silent. I'm going to talk about my sexual abuse. I'm going to talk about the things that no one else wants to talk about. And in a sense, this makes me the revolutionary, and so fucking be it. I am detaching from everything that has kept me hindered and paralyzed from getting to this place of fulfillment and joy and pleasure and love and play. I am detaching from anything and everything, even aspects of myself. Right now, you guys, I have a banishing candle burning to my right. I am purging and banishing all things, all fears, because these fears are merely illusions. And at the time of this full moon, we are tapping out of this element of fear and saying, I am not giving in to fear anymore. I am not a submissive to fear. I am not a submissive to fear. I am using this time right now, this divine chaos, and say, this is what I feel. This is why I feel so chaotic in my own life, and this is what I'm going to do to fix it. So at the time of the full moon, what I would say is I would probably set intention. This is my own personal opinion. I would set intention for this ability to express truth, this ability to, or I would set intention for self-worth, for self-love, for self-confidence. I would definitely be working with calendula. I would be working with rose. I would be working with those two flowers specifically because rose rules our beauty. It rules the love, it rules love in some cases, and also calendula rules success, and it's also powered by the sun, and it also deals with expression and things of that nature. So I would definitely be working with those two flowers. Again, this is all on the microscopic level of our own lives. I haven't even touched on a major level. So to be honest with you guys, I am still studying and things of that nature, but from what I can see and from what I can tell, I feel that at the time of the full moon, it really does kind of feel like what's being exposed here is in the workplace, there may be sexual misconduct. Also, I feel like there's major breakdowns, again, still happening in major corporations, major businesses, but also because we are in the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius rules the people. This is going to definitely challenge the powers that be. It's going to challenge our politicians. It's going to challenge our president, the president. Is going to challenge, do I see myself still in this society, or do I see myself building my own legacy, getting my affairs together, and also forming my own empire? Do I still see myself allowing other people to make decisions for me, or am I going to study law and research into building my own community, building my own tribe, my own nation, my own religious assembly? What am I going to do? I do feel that at the time of this full moon, and in the chart regardless, is that there's this energy of really becoming more self-reliant and really creating your own structure and challenging structures that were in place at one point, and saying, I no longer want you to lead me. I would much rather lead myself. For those of y'all that know what I'm talking about, you guys already know I'm touching on nation building. But for those who are unaware of that, who do things the traditional way, there's an emphasis or a highlight on the power being more in the hands of community, of the world, of the people, really. Because Aquarius, if you guys hear anything, it's because my son is upstairs. He's waking up. But I'm going to try to continue on with the podcast. Now, yes, continuing on with the podcast, I want to say that the download that I just received, since we're talking about politics, government, things like that, there is something coming through about child trafficking, child abuse, pedophiles, and predators in politics that are being exposed, or that are going to be more exposed in the upcoming future. And this is not the easiest thing to say. It is very disheartening to say. It is very disgusting to say. But I'm going to be honest with you. I do see more work and more advocacy being put towards those types of dilemmas. I am not one that is into conspiracy theories, but, and I'm not saying that this is a conspiracy theory, but there's something about adrenochrome that's coming through. It is so hard for me to say that, but there's some type of fear that children are experiencing that is definitely being more and more exposed. And the thing about Aquarius that I want to say is that Aquarius makes the unconventional conventional. It's what makes the almost, I kind of want to say the unordinary ordinary, in which in this sense what I mean is that the things that we feel were taboo or that we felt were that's just a conspiracy are being proven to be actual fact. And there's so many different things that are coming to the surface, being exposed. Again, of course, Aquarius, we're in the sign of Aquarius right now. And of course, with the vertex point sitting in the sign of Scorpio, that energy is all about really taking what we believe to be just conspiracy or just to be theories, and it's being proven to be real, to be true, but it's based again off of logic, off of fact. And so this is what's being exposed to bring balance, but to not even just bring balance, but to bring justice. So I do see a lot more people, a lot more celebrities is what's coming through, a lot more celebrities that you didn't think that were, child molesters, child predators, and things like that, or abusers or sexual abusers, are going to be coming out a lot more. I'm definitely feeling that. Again, there's this emphasis on the powers that be being exposed for sexual misconduct and things of that nature. So, especially in regards to children, because of course we are dealing with Leo energy, which Leo rules children, with Leo being the ruler of the fifth house, which rules children and things of that nature. So I feel like and not even just children, but people who are innocent, or because we all have some form of innocence within us, right? So I feel that if it's not a child per se, it's also someone who is innocent. Someone, also what I'm hearing is something about someone who was innocent, but who was proven now guilty. Someone who, covered this up, now is being exposed and people are finding out the truth. I'm seeing things being leaked through social media. I'm seeing emails being leaked. I'm seeing phone calls being recorded. I'm seeing so many different things. I'm seeing certain, people's cell phones being tapped. This secrecy is no longer, what's been a secret is now being exposed as truth. And I feel that this is going to bring the liberation to not even just our children, but to just all people who deserve it. So this is going on the macroscopic level of, of the world. And, this is just simply what I'm seeing in the chart. Again, I don't want you guys to feel as though this energy is so chaotic that things are just falling apart, that you're not destined for anything but suffering, because that's not true. I truly do believe that you can take this energy and transmute it into something that is highly favorable for yourself, but also for other people, because the more you show up for yourself, the more you show up for other people. And again, there's this miracle of expressing yourself through art. I'm seeing caricatures of politics happening here. I'm seeing people expose, the government and politics through works of art. You see what I'm saying? So there definitely is still some I don't even want to say hope, but there is a knowing that no matter what, that when you put your energy into this thing, that it will happen 1000%. The last thing that I want to touch on too is that with Mars sitting in the sign of Gemini, this is us really taking into account and thinking about, our actions before we, do things. This is really us being a bit more calculated in our actions and things like that, because it's almost kind of like us taking a stop to see where is it that we feel limited, where do we feel constricted, where do we feel that is a non-negotiable for us, what do we feel keeps us or impedes our growth and things like that. And we take a few steps back and we say, this is what I feel, okay, this is what I think actually, because Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, doesn't just feel, but he thinks. He is a thinker. So this is us really taking more time into our thoughts, our actions, and really planning out our steps. So this is us journaling. This is us planning, getting a planner. You may want to go out and buy a planner if you want, or take like a notebook and just kind of write your ideas down and just kind of plan. So I feel like I'm missing something. I want to say too, though, that with Saturn sitting in the sign of Aquarius, I do kind of feel like this is us kind of bringing new structure to things. This is us, you know, I want to kind of say being a bit more social in a sense. And there's this emphasis on connectivity, on just, even though you're more than likely someone who is used to just kind of being like on your own, in your own space and things like that. I do kind of see you branching out and being more open and, you know, discovering other people's stories and things like that, and connecting with them, especially with this happening in the ninth house. This does bring me to say that this is more than just about your own environment. This is also about other environments, whatever that means. So, oh man, you guys, I just want to say thank you guys for giving me this chance to talk your ears off about my intuitive hunches about this astrology chart. I know this is the first time I've ever done this before. This is the very first time I have ever trusted myself to even come on here onto a podcast to give you guys any type of astrological insight. And I'm so fucking proud of myself. Like, I just hope that it helps you in some way. I hope that you guys are able to take this and let it help you or aid you into your magical workings. If anything, well, the last few things I want to say is that this chart is what I feel the overarching energy is really you trusting and knowing in yourself and betting on yourself enough to say you have the absolute power to change your circumstances. This is you leaning on yourself, but also knowing that there is a community of people who are here for you that will never leave you alone, because your heart is so big. This is solar plexus, sacral chakra energy of expression, but not even just that. This warmth can be felt all throughout the masses. It is a time of unity. It is a time of coming together. It is a time of liberation for humanity, and you are a big part of that. Your own life is a major part of everything else, because you are one star. I am another star. Our neighbors are other stars. Our friends are other stars, and we all form a constellation that depicts the cosmos. Your story matters. You matter, and your magic is real. I don't know who needed to hear that, but your magic is real. The core of you is being lit on fire. You are tapping more into this element and essence of life. You are tapping more into your ability to heal so that you can become more vibrant. You are getting rid of all the caked up skin that's sitting on top of you, literally and figuratively, to reveal this more polished, beautiful, supple, shiny, nourished, what's the word I'm looking for? Moisturized version of yourself. Seriously, I just couldn't even get that out. But anyways, I just want to say thank you again for trusting me. Thank you for spending time with me here on the Magic of Eden podcast. Every link that you will need will be in the description box. Please share this podcast with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones, or whoever. That way we can grow. Word of mouth will really help me right now. For those of you guys that are waiting on candles and magical goodies and things like that, the opening date now is going to be March 7th. I am in the process of getting things together. I'm in the process of creating more content so that you guys can have to help you and aid you on your magical workings. I'm also in the process of preparing to write up more poems and things to perform for you guys, not just on the podcast but on YouTube. That's a big thing. And there's also another surprise that I have coming up that I don't want to share just yet, so be on the lookout for that. If you guys need anything from me, you guys can go onto my Instagram at Magic of Eden. If you wish to enter the shadows, you can go do so by following Shadows X Magic, and you guys can also follow the podcast, which can be found on Instagram at Magic of Eden Podcast. Again, everything will be linked down in the description, or not down in the description, but you guys get the point. I love you guys, and I hope you all have an amazing evening.